Hello everyone, I was just doing a trial run, I guess, beforehand. So I'm going to be talking about invocation. Invocation is not something that is talked about because it is often clouded by a lot of beliefs, more specifically religious beliefs, and people that don't really quite understand what invocation is. And I am going to explain what that is because I think it's very important when you are using divination tools, when you're around the supernatural or you're in the paranormal. Maybe you just do tarot, maybe you're medium, maybe you're a psychic, maybe you're neither of those things and you're just looking into the occult, or you're looking into witchcraft because you're curious, because you've been shown a lot about witchcraft being evil or bad, and often things are demonized because that's what sells. I mean, who wants to hear about a positive paranormal experience? Who wants to hear about an awesome Ouija session? No, it doesn't sell much. It doesn't sell very well, and it doesn't get a lot of views. So Hollywood kind of portrays it as, in a lot of movies for over 100 years probably, they have made it to where it is just this very ominous and dark and mysterious thing. And they show not only witchcraft, but they show a lot of these divination tools as being like some sort of, portal to the devil. And I can tell you this, that there's really nothing that weird and that exciting happening in our homes. That's just not what's going on if you think that. People are people, okay? They put one leg in the pant, they put their pants in one leg at a time. And there's really what it comes down to. Do you really care? I don't care. I don't care what gender someone is. I don't care what sexuality they have, because that's their business. That is their life. It does not affect me who they decide to be in a relationship with or what they decide to do with their body, because that's their life and that's their choice. So, when it comes down to this, invocation is literally what Christians will tell church members when they come into church, that you need to let the Holy Spirit in and let it guide you. Now, at any point, you've probably seen, some people that will, like, all of a sudden be seized by the Holy Spirit and they start jumping up and down and convulsing. Okay, first of all, invocation isn't about convulsing. You shouldn't be convulsing. That's not what this is. No. So, a lot of people are confused, and this seems to be in the Ouija area. They say that it's the beginning of possession. I'm sorry, there's a difference between possession and invocation. Possession means you don't have control. You're fighting, but something else is trying to control you. And that is never a good thing. I don't think anybody in their day wants to be possessed, okay? But I can tell you this from my experience, not from yours. Your experience is your own. You might come to your own conclusions, so take what I say with a grain of salt. The one thing is, spirits do not like possessing people. It is really hard to fill up a cup that is already full. I got this from Jackie Chan, okay? It's hard to fill something up that's already full. We are full of us. We are full of all our trauma. We're full of our emotions. We are extremists. If anybody gives us a suggestion, we end up taking it to a whole new extreme. We don't even take suggestions, really. And look at what we've done to the planet. Look at what we've done to the animals and everything that we've done to this earth and to other people. We are very scary people. Humanity is scary, but there is good in it as well. I don't think it's all bad. I think we all have the potential to be good and bad. And sometimes we don't really find a balance between the dark and the light, and that's okay. We are always trying to maintain that balance. But for spirits, it's very uncomfortable because they are unwillingly taking over something that shouldn't. It is not natural for them. Even for a frickin' demon, it's not natural. Have you seen The Possession, where there was this slow, first the demon made the connection, then she started getting weaker, he was draining her. Do you see how much effort that frickin' takes? That was based on a true story. And it takes a lot of effort just to break that person down so that they will be a proper vessel. They're trying to make it to the point where they're just giving up, okay? Because that would make it easier. But also, that demon was killing the young girl at the same time. So it was going to be a temporary situation either way. If they possessed her, oh yay, 5 minutes of possession. And for what? 5 months to 5 years of trying to get her to wear down? It's a lot of effort. That's a little too much effort for... And many people... well, not many people, but from the spirits that have spoken to me, they have told me that it is an abomination and kind of a parasitic practice to possess a person. I have had demons shudder at the thought. Shake and shudder because it is so unnatural for them. They like to make connections, yes. When they make a connection, it's usually with someone that has that can either see them or hear them, whether it's whether they really can, or it's just a subconscious thing. Maybe they're sending telepathic messages to them. Everybody has a unique gift. Not judging here. So, when it comes down to that, really, is a spirit will seek out someone that is going to see them, or hear them, or is going to match their energy. And that might very well be a child, because a child doesn't really have that fear, they don't have that knowledge, and they see everything as beautiful and new and exciting. And however, this is just my theory, is that children have that natural ability to be psychics and mediums. I have seen numerous times, and this is a worldwide phenomenon, where children have seen spirits or talked with them or had experiences that they could have never gathered from anybody. How can a 4-year-old child know about complicated names like Manakel and Rahiel? That's just not natural. And those are names of angels, by the way, and guardian angels, actually. But regardless of what you believe in, children have just this very uncanny knack to be able to see spirits. Why do you think they're sitting there and talking to their dolls or talking to their Barbies or that kind of thing? It could be that they're just, their imagination. And that's what I like to tell myself at one time, is, I had a very active imagination. Now, invocation works. This is kind of how it works. For everyone, it works a little bit differently, but it's literally where invocation is a gentle guidance. It is a synonymous harmony. It is a willing cooperation. Neither one is overpowering the other. You may be overwhelmed during the process, but at any time, if this is a good spirit, this spirit will essentially respect your boundaries. If it is in a point where your boundaries are not being respected, that's not a spirit you need to invocate. You don't need to invocate. That's a word I don't know. It might be. That might not be the spirit that you want to invoke. But invocation isn't giving your soul to a spirit. It isn't saying, here, have at it. It's saying, let's cooperate together, and you are going to guide me. And a Ouija board is a way of temporarily invoking a spirit, to where they're just manipulating your hands. Now, if you've seen in movies where there's a seance going, there's somebody that's foaming at the mouth and talking in these voices. Invocation isn't like that. That is Hollywood, hyped up Hollywood fantasies and fallacies that they've created to create an atmosphere. That's not real life. Horror movies are not real life. That's why I watch them, because they're not real life. And it makes me laugh, you know, because it's like, that's not what's going on. And it's made me uncomfortable too, because I'm like, what is invocation? What is it? And, okay, first of all, when you are invoking a spirit, especially during a Ouija session, this is temporary. You could at any point say, I don't want to do this, and not do it. But part of my struggle with Ouija board was that I had to kind of let go, because I am very rigor mortis. I am very, I like to be in control. I'm not anal, but I want to make I have been in situations where I've always had to be on guard, on edge, ready to fight, ready to whatever. No, I didn't grow up on the streets. I'm not street smart, but I can tell you that I did every time when I was a kid and I entered a room, I didn't know what to expect. It was like I was preparing for battle. So letting that part of me go was definitely a part of my journey as a medium and spiritualist. And a medium is a little bit different than a psychic. Psychic would most likely know things about someone that you know, nobody else knows about, or they see things that people don't necessarily see. And many people have, you know, various kinds of psychic stuff. It doesn't necessarily have to do with the future, but medium is where you can naturally invoke spirits, which means maybe they speak through you, you know? You know how they say, oh yeah, God must speak through you. Same thing with spirits. Spirits will speak through you. And at no point do I feel like I'm being forced. Do I feel like someone is, you know, telling me to do this? I feel like it is the most natural thing in the world. And they say this about that. I do not have, okay, it's my voice. It might have a different inflection, a different tone, but it's my voice that's being spoken. There is nothing out there that is, I'm not going, Reagan's not there. I am not doing that. My neck is not doing a 180. I am not floating. There is none of that going on. Because sometimes the most successful kind of interactions with spirits are internal. And they aren't always flickering lights and burning Ouija boards and blood on the walls and things like that. Sometimes it's really just you have this feeling of knowing without knowing why. It's kind of like your Guinan, okay, from Star Trek. Guinan just always, she'll go to Picard and say, I don't know how I know this, but I know it. And these things will happen. Sometimes it's going to be like medium, where it will just show up and it's not something that you can control. Other times it's something that you have to actually think about. Each of us have a very unique, each of us may, not all of us have psychic abilities at all. But I can tell you, when someone is communicating with a spirit, it's very casual. It's not as sensational as Hollywood would like to portray it. And that is why a lot of the mediums and spiritists you see out there, they're not the ones that are on TV. Those are just spicy psychologists, okay? They learned how to have Sherlock Holmes type observation skills. So by the way that you hold yourself and the way you talk, they can kind of tell what you might want to hear, and using just a little bit of intuition, they can figure out, okay, what does this person want to hear? Your grandmother wants to let you know that she's at peace and she wants you to move on. Now, this could apply to about millions of people, okay? And this is one of those things. This is not from beyond. It is not that. It is simple training of the brain to see and taking advantage of people's insecurities. Now, the real mediums and spiritists aren't making money because they may do free readings for people. They may give advice. They may be somebody like Guinan that's giving advice while handing you a drink. They may be somebody that you're not even aware has any sort of psychic or medium-like abilities, but they can give good advice because they have a feeling when they see someone. Now, whether you believe in this or not, no, you don't have to believe that they have those abilities. Absolutely not. That is entirely up to you. But the people that really have abilities to see things and hear things that nobody else can, they're not going around in the streets and screaming it. They're not on TV. They're probably not, they are probably on really small channels at odd times on YouTube, like me, that are just doing what they do because they genuinely care about the human race. I don't need payment. If I need to help somebody, I will help them out of the goodness of my own heart. And that sounds very weird because in this day and age, it's all about what can we get out of this? What do I get out of this? Really, sometimes the only answer is it makes you feel good. Sometimes when you help someone, it's almost like you're helping yourself. And it's a natural thing, just like invocation. But going back to the Ouija boards are a temporary way of invocating. So instead of your mouth being used, your hands are being used. And there's definitely a cooperation that you need to, there's a trust that you need to have with a spirit. Often people use a Ouija board and they think that, okay, I'm just going to randomly roll the dice and see what happens. That is when you're playing around with it. Now, if you're going to use a Ouija board properly, you may want to have other spirits that are involved saying, okay, is this safe for me to be doing this? Or protect yourself. Maybe you're a religious person. Maybe you have a luck charm or something like that that you think may protect you. Or you have a goddess or a god that makes you feel empowered, and you can put your faith in whatever that is. Or maybe you just want to believe in yourself. You can believe in yourself because guess what? Some people actually believe that a Ouija board is all that is just reflecting your subconscious. So maybe that's all it is. I don't know. But I do know that from what I've experienced, having an organized, making sure that the channels are safe and having an organized, like actually having somebody that I have in mind. Yeah, today it was on Facebook. Yeah, big mistake, really. And I said something like, this is what from my experience, blah, 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 blah. And they say, you can't get individual messages from spirits. That's rubbish. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Karen. Did you think that this was did you think the Ouija board was a Russian roulette type kind of game? It's not random generator, okay? It's not a random generated chatbot. This is an actual, just a board. And they've actually, I think they've proven that it's about your coordination as well as, they've actually proven that where they've tried to blindfold people and it just doesn't work. I tried it once. It did not work. I did not spell anything out. And it proved to be a real laugh for the spirit. Thankfully, the spirit I was contacting had a good sense of humor. So, and she was like, did it work? And I was like, no, it did not. So it's definitely, you are in control, but you're also, it's like a dance. When you, there's not necessarily, but this is one of those dances that one is not necessarily leading the other. There's not a dominant and a submissive. There's not something where, or a male and a female. It's usually It's like, kind of like a flock of birds. When one moves, everybody else moves. They move this way. Okay, are we going to go over this way? Okay, we're going to go over this way. Okay, yeah, what are we going to do? And sometimes, also, it's your energy, is that sometimes when you're doing whatever it is, you got to be open to these things. Sometimes people are not open, and invocation is just not the same as possession, you guys. If you're getting possessed off of a Ouija board, I think you've missed some steps. And I'm gonna say, if you've had a bad experience with anything, whether it's haunted house, Ouija boards, tarot cards, and you have a reason to do that because of trauma or because of somebody else's experience, that is your choice. That's really your choice. If you don't want to take the risk, then good for you, you know, because you're keeping yourself safe. And there's nothing wrong with being safe. And also, are you happy with being safe? Then that's, by all means, do that. But I've come to a point where I will not sit here and argue about your viewpoint, because you're gonna have your viewpoint regardless if mine is different than yours. I don't expect you to change your viewpoint because of things that I've said. I'd like you to maybe open your mind and your horizon, you know, open your mind to new possibilities. But I'm going to say you should challenge yourself and your beliefs and your opinion, because you may find one day as you're trying to prepare for a journey, or you're going through a transition, that what you believed and what you saw to be true might not have been, and that can be very painful, because somebody can just if you're not going to change yourself, if you're not going to give yourself a wake-up call, someone else might do it for you, and they're not going to do it gracefully. You might find yourself in a situation where just something about, you're in a situation where just your overall opinion really doesn't explain these other things that are out there. That's why it's really important to be open to new experiences and new ideas. You don't have to agree with these ideas, but you can realize that nothing really is set in stone. I don't think there's that many absolutes, and I avoid people that have those absolutes that say never do this, don't do that, or this is always going to be this way, because there's always going to be an exception somewhere. There's going to be an exception somewhere where that doesn't work. It's as simple as that. But it's really pointless to tell people that their experiences are wrong, because guess what? I had these experiences, and the way that I interpret them is very unique. Telling somebody that their experiences are wrong is like arguing with someone's opinion. There's no point to it, but that's all the internet is about. That's all what Facebook and X and Reddit is all about, is just, let's argue about things that we don't even understand ourselves. When you tell someone an experience, hey, this is what I've experienced, that is just a story. It's a story. It may not be 100% accurate, but nothing really is, There's always creative licensing, and you have to kind of, make things a little bit more exciting and invigorating for an audience. But other than that, when you're just saying, hey, this is what I've experienced, telling them that their experience is wrong is just like, and it's really not our place to tell someone that their experiences are wrong, because we haven't been in their shoes. We haven't lived their life. We don't know what they're doing with their life now. And we can't really read their tone, because it's a text and it's a post on Facebook. So, and I just kind of, but I do call out bullshit when I see it. Like, I just had to tell this guy, I was like, why are you doing this? What is the point of this? What is the point? Who are you trying to prove this to? Okay, there's certain things that you're going to experience, spiritually that you cannot describe to other people, because they're either going to think you're freaking crazy or they're just going to disagree with you. And your opinion and your perspective and your belief is very sacred. Not everybody needs to know about it, and you don't need to prove your point. You don't need to prove yourself to anyone, honey. You are you. Celebrate it. Enjoy life. And stop arguing about things that don't freaking matter. Does it... Okay, first of all, if somebody believes... you know... I'm just gonna say, if somebody believes that the earth is flat, how is that affecting you? Alright, like, first of all, do they live in your house? Are you encountering this person every day? Are they paying your bills? Are they related to you? Are they dating you? Are you married to them? Okay, if it's no for all of those, then it doesn't fucking matter. Yay! You're free now. Now you can go about your life and get off of Facebook. Hopefully forever. But you know, we all have those friends that we want to keep in contact with, so, you know, we keep Facebook up and running, not because we like it, but because we have to kind of use the system, realizing, you know, there are friends that we, and there's also, you know, a lot of dates and times that we have to keep up with, you know. For instance, if you are part of a group or an organization, you might want to check Facebook because there's a lot of updates on there, or... You know, if you're involved with, you know, some sort of, you know, something that's involved with the community, yeah, you might want to, you know, that does help, sometimes, but other than that, I'm not really a big fan. I'm becoming to be very frustrated with Facebook, because it's like, I understand that it's freedom of speech and all that, but it seems to me that the only point that we have on social media is just to argue another person. And I'm tired. It gets tiresome. Can we just agree to disagree? Can we just go about our day and live our lives? Can we just live, you know? Can we just live and realize, okay, somebody else in Zimbabwe believes that God exists. Okay, great. Fantastic. Love ya. Do we need to add anything to that? No, I don't think so, because it really, I'm like, okay, you know what, I'm going to support you because it's a support group. But people go on these support groups and they argue. I understand discussion, debate. Arguing is where you, it's a little bit more than debating. It means that, okay, you are wrong, and I am right, so I'm going to prove to you that I'm right. And every time I see this, nobody is proven right or wrong, okay? They're just proven to be stupid and chaotic, is what it does. It's just like, you're just proving to me. And yes, in actuality, can I prove that spirits exist per se? Like 100%? Probably not. Can I prove that God exists? No, I can't. But I can tell you that these are my experiences, but I cannot expect my experiences to change your opinion, or your belief, or lack thereof, because it's just not. And I have to say that, you know, I was not trying to be, you know, a bully at all. I was just asking this guy, I was like, why does it matter? Why does it matter? If you prove, like, he was just out and about to prove everybody that God existed. I can prove it to you. I wish I could send a message out to you, like a vocal message, so that you would know it was true. It's true to you, and that's beautiful, honey. But not everybody sees the beauty in that. I do, because I'm a good person. But what's the point? And he was like, "You're judging me. You're trying to judge me. You're misjudging. You're judging me wrong. I'm like, this isn't a judgment. You need to stop being defensive. This is not a judgment. I asked you a series of questions. You did not answer any of them. You're just complaining like a little bitch and saying, okay, that's nice. It wasn't a judgment. That's the thing. Everybody reacts to everything. It's almost like it's a natural thing. They just react. They see something that's against something and they're against that thing. Guess what? If you're gonna represent something, don't go on a rampage about it. If you want people to actually believe your point of view, start acting on it, okay? If you believe that there are consequences for your actions, what are you gonna do? Well, you're gonna follow the laws, abide by the laws of the land, stay out of trouble, don't do anything illegal, and keep your nose clean. And you're going to show that to other people. How do you show that? By living. By simply living. When I was a conservative Christian, I did not agree with telling everybody about Jesus. You know, that just was not my thing. I didn't want to offend anybody, and I'm not pushy. I'm not pushy. Everybody else, all the other pastors were just like, you gotta get out there and tell. I don't think so. That's your job. You're the pastor. You should, to go get your lackeys to go preach. You know, that's not my job. I'm just sitting here. Why are you looking at me? That's not my gift. We all have spiritual gifts, and that's not mine. And so I refused to do that, even though I was very passionate about my beliefs, even though I was real fired up about certain things. But I never went out of my way and tried to throw my faith at people, because it was against my morality. So I always was respectful, and I lived by example, because that was the only thing that I could think of. I didn't want to have to be a Bible thumper. Okay, you know, and somebody told me this, you know, it's just a pity that people are so misled and so sucked up into their passion that they don't realize how much they are hurting people. Guess what? Everybody's on their path, and especially when they're first beginning their path, their transition, it is not helpful when someone is telling you that every step is wrong. I have been in situations where I was just trying to grow, and somebody was just over my shoulder telling me, that's wrong. You don't need that. And it filled me with such fear whenever I would do simple things like making purchases online or doing that. I remember just sitting there having to force my finger to push confirm just to pay for something on Amazon or on Temu. And it was so hard because there was always somebody that was telling me that something was wrong. And it's really hard to grow in that kind of environment where everything is discouraged. And so I don't think it's our place to tell people what is wrong and what is right. What I can say is, I'm not probably going to do that. That's probably not my thing. But you know, more power to you. If you're going to do it, you do it. But you know, of course I might say something if it's going to harm you or someone else. I might discourage you then. But I'm not going to discourage you just because it's something that just doesn't line up with my standards. The world just doesn't revolve around us. It revolves around the sun, actually. But scientifically, you know, and I'm getting to see, when I find more balance in my life, I'm realizing that it's just a bunch of bickering. It really is. It's just another shit show. You know, and I guess I'm getting to the point where this is the crazy thing. I go on witchy groups, you know, where there are a community of witches supporting other people. They don't, but, you know, I go on there. And, I make a few, I've not made any friends from those groups. Because I thought, oh, yay, other people that are witches, yay, you know, and it was really fun and exciting because I could learn from these people, right? And do you know where I get the most meaningful friends on Facebook? The paranormal groups. Yeah. I find really good people there. People that are well-grounded, that are welcoming and just warm and friendly and willing to take suggestions and give suggestions. It's a fair exchange. Yeah, that you get some kooks here and there, you know, some people that may not understand what's going on and looking, you know, what's going on. But that's the thing with a lot of that is I don't think people understand, because certain things are hyped up, like magic and Ouija and tarot. They cannot see beyond that. Look at the history. Look at the history. Ouija boards were really just invented for sensationalism. That's all they were invented to do. Now, if you're having a meaningful experience with it and you're actually communicating with aliens or angels or whatever you think you're talking to, fantastic, it's working for you. If it doesn't, well, it's not for everyone, you know. Same thing with witchcraft. It's not for everybody. But, you know, same thing with tarot. That's not for everybody either. To each their own. And it's going to be, you know, obviously, you know, I think that it's important that we have things that we can believe in. And if it's just believing in ourselves, then maybe that's all that we need. I have seen that. You know, there are atheists out there. That's all they believe. They believe in themselves. And I think that's very powerful. I think we should believe in ourselves. We should believe in ourselves before we start believing in others, because we often do that. We do that with... That's why I'm not involved with politics, because it just seems so much that we are putting so much faith in just a person. We think, you know, like, obviously, you know, we matter, and our decisions matter, but politics doesn't affect me. It never has, because it's just another person to me. And they just put all their faith in that, and when they don't deliver... and they actually have flaws like every other human being, they get disappointed. It's just like, oh, they don't walk on water. Oh, they have bones and brains and cells and muscles and all of those things that actually require them to be human. So they're gonna have some shortcomings, and they're gonna obviously they're gonna let us down, and anybody can potentially let you down. That's just what humanity is. They're shitty, but there's some good people there too, and you know, I think it's just a shame that we cannot see beyond all of that. And tarot, that was involved in that was a game. That was a parlor game. Do you realize that? That's a frickin' parlor game. It was like a choose-your-own-adventure with cards. Yeah. So you'd be like, oh, okay, well, you're going through this journey. You're doing this. How is this frickin' telling the truth? You know, it could be telling your story. It could be telling somebody else's story. It could be telling a story that could possibly happen. Or a story that's never going to happen. It depends how you see it. And if it means absolutely nothing to you, they're cards. They're going to be wrong. And guess who drew the cards? You did. So, whether or not the cards reflect on your future or not, I have not really gathered much about my future from tarot cards at all. The only thing that tarot does is says, hey, you got a problem here. Yeah. You're having a problem with repressing your emotions and spending too much time on online stuff. Maybe you could prove. Okay, thank you, subconscious. It's literally like talking to your subconscious. It's telling you, someone is telling you about something that you could work on. It's positive criticism. But it's many things to many different, it can mean different things to people. So depending on what you believe, it's all about belief. But for the most part, it should be fun. Okay, that's what tarot is. Tarot is not something that's gonna show you your future. There's nothing futuristic about it. It can tell you something that's happened before, something that's going on now, and maybe something that you can do in the future. It's not necessarily telling you what will happen in the future, because the future is something that I don't even know is predestined. I really don't know. Maybe some of it's predestined, maybe some of it has to do with us, and maybe we are completely in control of our destiny. I don't know. Perhaps it's a combination of many things. You know, depending on what we choose, certain things may happen. But as Yoda said, I can't tell. The future is always changing. So, to me, that was very poignant, because this is a being that is 700 years old. I mean, yeah, he's a Muppet, but still, that's probably more. I don't know. I get more wisdom from Muppets than I do with actual people. It's really fun. It's really amazing. That's why I'm such a fan. But yes, you know. I think we need to get to the point where we can be like the Mandalorian. We can be like Pedro Pascal and say, this is the way. This is the way. Somebody says, okay, you know what? I've decided to shave my head and put tattoos on all over my body, and then get a tattoo piercing. You know, get some rings in my nose. Yeah, do that. Then we would just say, this is the way. This is the way. It doesn't matter. Like, throughout The Mandalorian, they say that's their kind of their family creed, or kind of what their way of thinking is. If something feels good for you, if you think that this is the path that you need to choose, then they will say, this is the way. It doesn't matter what it is. And the Mandalorian actually risks his entire life just to protect that baby. And when he came in contact with one of the Mandalorians, they said, this is the way. You must, fulfill your purpose. And when you have a mission, you finish it, unless you die. So, it doesn't matter if you... Now, of course, if you die and you don't fulfill your mission, then that obviously puts a damper on things, doesn't it? It puts a wrench in the works. But yes, they believe in fulfilling their mission, and so to me, that's like a very poignant thing. Is like every time didn't matter how crazy a plan might have been, or how risky or dangerous it was. This is the way. And that's, I think, is very inspiring, is how we should strive to be, is regardless of what walk someone is in life or what path they are taking, it is important that we are respectful, because sometimes they are not ready for a wake-up call. When you point out something that is inconsistent about someone's faith or belief or opinion, it may disrupt them to a point where they don't recover. You're telling them that everything that they are, everything that they believe is wrong. You're gonna get some opposition. You're gonna have someone that's defensive and hurt and just very, uptight. They're gonna fight you and we are not here to hurt people. I know that there's a lot of people that are hurting others, but when somebody hurts you, don't you feel it in your soul? I feel that. I feel when somebody hurts me, it feels like somebody has punched me in the chest. It feels horrible. It feels like I've been betrayed. It feels like, why? You feel it in your core. You really do, because you're looking at them and you're going, baby, do you really want to hurt me? Like, ow. Why? Why do you have to tell me that everything's wrong, okay? But just because everything about me is wrong does not mean that you're right. Because really, between wrong and right is just a perspective. And you trying to sit there and prove your perspective is time consuming and is a waste of time. It is a waste of time, because you have sat there trying to prove something that you can't even prove. You can prove it to yourself, but you can't prove it to anyone else. That's what an opinion is. That's what your faith and your belief is. Can you probably prove it scientifically? No. But it's yours, and it's beautiful. Keep it sacred. You don't need to lock it up. You can put it like a pendant over your heart, but you don't need to flaunt it, because it's beautiful. You say, if you have it, flaunt it. Well, there's certain things that you have that not everybody is going to see the beauty in. You know, not everybody. But I try to be helpful as I can, especially when it comes to Facebook, because I see a lot of people that are on there that either seem to be bringing up issues that they shouldn't. I mean, they're breaking the rules, a lot of these people, you know, by stirring up all that trouble. It's kind of weird, and it makes it, it's kind of exciting, actually, when you actually get to be, you actually get to be helpful on Facebook. That's a rarity. I didn't know you could do that. But yes, you can. I used to be an admin. I used to be a moderator. I used to be that kind of person, so it's kind of hard to turn off. So when I see somebody that is potentially being very, very negative in a support group, which, you know, I get it. We can discuss things heatedly, but we can debate things, and we can do that. But when you're in a support group and you're telling people, like, there was somebody in a paranormal group that was telling everybody that they needed Jesus. Yeah. This was a support group for people that wanted to reach their dead loved ones. And she's telling them, God doesn't want you to do this. This is a support group. And I called her out on it. I said, look, you have your belief, yes. But telling people that they are wrong over and over, and not being open to their beliefs and not respecting their beliefs, that's not spreading the gospel. That's not spreading love and joy. That is bullying. I have reported you, and if you continue to do this, you are going to be removed. And that person was removed by the admin because I reported it. Don't mess with me, okay? I may be a very nice and pleasant person, but if I see something that's going on that shouldn't be going on, I'm not gonna just go, oh, that's a bitch. No, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say, I will text the admin and with a picture saying, this is not acceptable. This is not following the rules. Am I being overly aggressive about it? No. Sometimes I don't even respond to these people. I just take screenshots. I don't even do that. I don't get involved with drama. I just take a step back and I report it. Yeah. So when you see somebody that gets in a crash, do you go and try to get the person out of the car? No. You go and you call for help. That's what I'm doing. I'm being the good Samaritan by doing that. So, and it's kind of hard to turn it off, but I find that it is that I'm trying to protect other people as well, because there's some people that don't have, they might not have that ability to defend themselves. There are some people that just don't have the confidence, and when they are, that's the thing, is your opinion so important that you have to express it to the point where it's going to hurt someone, it's going to break someone completely. no, then it's not worth it. I don't think it's worth that's worth anything. Even if I think that I am 100% right, I'm gonna stand down, because I'm gonna realize, you know what, they have every right to believe what they want to believe in. It's not my business. It's not my business to tell people, because when you challenge people where they are and you tell them that they don't deserve to stand where they are, but you are on a soapbox saying how wrong they are, you're not helping anybody. You're not even helping yourself. You're not. It's just, it's pointless. And if you want to have a party of one, then go for it. But it's going to come down to it that there's going to be people, it's getting really hard for a lot of hackers and scammers and trolls to do things now, because people are, sometimes don't put up with that BS. They're just like, no, so, you know. And, you know, sometimes it's really, you know, there are posts that I will see, and I'll really want to just like express how, you know, I want to educate them about how, you know, that's not okay. But then I consider, well, they're not hurting anybody, they're just making a funny post, and I don't need to get philosophical about it, and I don't need to overthink it. It's Facebook. Who cares? Who cares? You know, in the long run, most of these people I don't even know, I don't even meet. You know, there's a handful of them that are actually people that I've seen and that I've met. But for the most part, it's like, oh, you're funny, I'm gonna friend you. You're funny, I'm gonna friend you. That's cool. So, yeah, on Facebook, I take kind of the back seat. And if I see something that's going on, I either will inform them or I won't. Because I can tell you, if there's anything that is, and this is kind of a joke, but not, is I don't curse people. I don't hex them. I don't send my spirits out to make their hair fall out or something like that. You know, I'm not doing that kind of witchery. That's Hollywood stuff. But if there's any curse that I can bring or hex that I can put out, it is my silence. If you hurt me and you expect me to just take it, I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to walk away. I'm going to withdraw myself from you. That doesn't mean that I love you any less or that I think of you any more or less. It just means that I value myself and my own sanity more than wanting to be around that person. You know, I think in the words of Marina, from Marina and the Diamonds, the singer, the Welsh singer, she said, "I love you, but I love me more." And we need to realize that we are worth a lot more. And you don't need to prove it on Facebook. Okay? We all know that you're worth more than diamonds, worth more than gold, because you are who you are. But not everybody is a geologist, okay? Do you get it? Not everybody's a geologist. Not everybody can look at you and see you for the rare gem that you are. And that's okay, because maybe they're just not ready to see you shine. They're not ready to learn new things and accept new ways of life, or really just new perspectives, and that's fine. But you're not proving anything that nobody else has proven. I mean, it's really just, you are who you are, and you believe what you believe, and that's all there is to it. And, you know, I don't have, you know, when somebody says that my experiences are rubbish, like somebody just said today, trying not to be butthurt about that, but then I realized it's probably a scammer or a troll. So, you know, I just thought, you know, the first reaction that I get when troll comes into my comments is just like, ow? And then I swiftly go into laughter because I realize, oh, you just invented a new kind of stupid. Are you, that does not compute. Okay. How do I put this in perspective? If you go to me and you say, okay, let's say I told you a story. Okay, I told you a story. Okay, I took my dog to the beach today, and the dog really seemed to enjoy the beach, and I enjoyed myself, and it was a really good experience. And then I got into my car, got the dog into the car, and went home. What is your first reaction? What would you say? Oh, the first thing you would say, well, is, that sounds really nice. I like that. Like, which beach did you go to, or, what kind of dog do you have? Or, oh, can we get a pic? Can we see that? That would be the first thing, but no, that's absolute rubbish. That never happens. Yes, right? Yeah, that never happens when somebody takes their dog to the ocean and has a good time. Yeah, that totally never happens. I'm sorry. But was that something that you haven't experienced? Is that why you're saying that's absolute rubbish? Because guess what? I did go, like, at one point I did take a dog in a car and take them to the beach. I mean, that's a true story. Did I drive the car? No. But I did take the dog, and the dog did enjoy the beach. Oh, immensely. She did. But I don't think there's anything wrong with that scenario. I mean, I really didn't over-exaggerate. So, I am so confused. Yeah, but then, yeah, somebody on Facebook was telling me that my experience was wrong. I'm just like, okay. I'm pretty sure it happened, though. How is it wrong? Are you trying to tell me that it never happened? Because if that's the case, oh my gosh, that's really, that's fucked up, because you're trying to figure it out. You're trying to tell me that it never happened. It never happened. It's a dream. Okay. Okay, well, you take a ride on the crazy train, and I will meet up with you, on I'm gonna take the 9 3/4 train to Hogwarts while you take the crazy train, okay? And maybe we'll meet up later. I'm sorry. People just don't make sense. And I don't know if that's a bot or something. I think it was a bot. I really do. I think it was either a bot or a scammer or just somebody that was taking, maybe they just randomly put negative things in random places and just to see what happens, and then don't. Because from what I saw, that person did not text me back. They didn't send a response. They were just like, oh, interesting. But yeah, I just don't understand all of this arguing about everything like it's some sort of sport or something. If you're gonna argue, why don't you just join the debate team? Okay? But the thing is, these people wouldn't even survive in debate team. Really, they wouldn't. They wouldn't survive. I don't think they would be able to. Because their arguments don't make sense. Debate is actually based on certain things. It isn't just an opinion. It's also has to do, you have to have some facts that back it up, or you need something that's thought-provoking that will challenge. So when you challenge someone, it's bizarre that people are like that. And I don't, There's some weird people on the internet. I'm just saying. I don't know if all of the people that just don't really understand logic go on there. I don't know. I don't understand this, but it bothers me. Not so much because it's hurtful, but because it just doesn't make any freaking sense. I mean, you're trying to power up you're trying to power something up just because of that. Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. You're trying to power. It's like you're trying to use your power strip to power itself, and you just plug it in and go about your day. And I'm just sitting there going, how? Why? What? Oh, no, that is illogical. As Spock would say, that is totally illogical. It is illogical. I feel, that's why I identify with Spock, because it's like everything seems to be illogical. That is illogical. That is illogical. To argue something that is never going to be, you're trying to win a war that's never going to be won. It wasn't a war in the first place. So you're just showing up to some random area where you bought virtual land and you're going, that's wrong. I don't know what it is, but it's wrong. It's got to be wrong because it doesn't sound right. Wait. Let me read that comment again. Yeah, it's wrong. It's wrong. And some of the, maybe it has to do with some of these people, they don't, that there's a language barrier, maybe, because sometimes things don't translate very well. Maybe somebody doesn't understand the language that's being presented, and I'm not going to say maybe they don't understand English. No. I don't understand other languages, and I don't expect other people to understand mine because it's freaking crazy. It's English. You know, I don't care. I don't care, but if you're gonna argue, please read my comments. Yeah, please actually read the entire comment instead of taking out what you want. And get the overall gist, because reading a comment doesn't mean that you understand it. Get the gist of what I'm trying to say, because you don't know what I'm going to say unless you ask. So I might not actually be attacking you. I actually might be saying, hey, settle down here. Let's not argue. Let's be respectful. This is a support group. Let's support people, okay? Alright. Now resuming our normal programming. Thank you. Can we just have that? I really do wish that there was a Majel Barrett voice. We shall now be resuming. I mean, someone should just say that. That is not a... I should do that in a Facebook group. That would be funny if I just said something like, that is not a viable question. Please state your original question in a viable way. That would be something. Yeah. But nobody can... No, nobody can tell you that. It's just stupid. Yeah, I don't understand what kind of insanity it is. I think people must think that Facebook is some sort of, that it's supposed to help your mind or something. It doesn't. It doesn't help your mind. It just fills your mind with more useless shit. It doesn't do anything else. It may give you set times and dates and be able to connect with your work friends as well as those that are in your groups, which I use it for. But I just use it for the reason to connect with like-minded people and to connect with the people that I care about, and say, oh, what's Shirley doing today? Oh yeah, and she's doing this, and looks cool. Or, oh, you know what? Tryouts are for today. You might find out. Or, you know what? This Gowron meme is freaking hilarious. Yeah, so that's what I do with it. I make a comment, and then I go about my day. Look at a comment, go about my day. Post a meme, then I go about my day. Do I sit there and obsess? I've had people who will obsess over things. They will endlessly. It's called doom scrolling. They'll do that all day. I don't do that. But I could if I let myself go. Yes, I could potentially. But after a while, I just get kind of frustrated. I get frustrated with people. I get frustrated because, you know, I'm just here. I'm just here for the ride, and you guys are trying to, you know, are commenting on the fact that this is the wrong turn. This is the wrong road. This is the wrong vehicle. This is the wrong place to be. Okay, then why are you here? If everything is wrong, why are you here? You know, why are you here? If everything is wrong, why are you here? If you've really given up on humanity as we know it, what is the point of letting people know that? Okay, you've given up on humanity, great. If I had given up on humanity, I would not be on Facebook. Just saying, if I had given up on Facebook, on humanity, I would be far away from Facebook, because that, people. More people to fuck up my life. I don't know. I don't know. That's what I would do. If I was truly, if I hated all of humanity, Facebook would be the last place I would be, because that's where everybody is. Billions of people are on there, and I don't, too people-y in that. And it's not real. And, yes, so there's really, you know, I believe that Facebook there's a time and a place for it. I don't think it's bad or good. I think there's some good aspects of it, and there's some bad aspects. I think it's definitely, it can be a positive thing, or it can be a negative thing. But I'm getting to the point where I don't really want to be involved in any of these groups, because I remember making a post just saying, hey, you know, it's kind of funny, but, you know, it's kind of funny if you think about it, but it seems to be like this. And I wasn't saying that this was 100% my way of thinking. I was just like, what if? You know, what if this was the case? I mean, it kind of seems like this. It's not necessarily true, but it was just like a fan theory that I was throwing out there. And everybody started, like, this is a witchy group, and they all started just saying how wrong I was. I was just like, this is a support group. Why? How are you supporting me if everything I'm saying is wrong? So, I understand. I get it. You know, they say that, oh yeah, well, it's a bunch of women, they're very strong women. Okay, well, strong women should be empowering one another. And if you want to represent anything, if you want to represent witches, if you want to represent Christianity, if you want to represent books not being banned, or if you want to represent the trans community or LGBTQ plus community, I think the best way would be to tell people how much love you have for yourself and for those people, and supporting people that are going through those you know, those people. You know, if you're gonna support feminism, if you're gonna support that's what I don't agree with when it comes to feminism. Everybody is so angry. They're so angry, and I understand where that anger comes from, but I can tell you, women aren't the only ones that are not getting what they need, okay? And if you're going to represent equal rights for women, you're going to have the help of men. Yeah, men are going to have to help you. So by hating on men, you're just kind of creating you're creating a hate group is all you're doing. By all means, be passionate, be angry about injustice. Do that. But also know that when it comes to equal rights, who's going to help us with that? We can't do that by ourselves. We can't just do that by ourselves, because there is power in numbers, and we can't just, you know, when it comes to that, men are going to be the ones. They're going to probably help us. So we need to support one another. And it's really such a shame. Like, I've had people that just are like, well, I represent, you know, the autistic community, or I represent this community, and I'm gonna tell you, you need to stop doing this, and you need, because it's wrong. And I'm just like, guess what? You are on a freaking soapbox telling me what I need to be doing. How are you helping anybody? You have put everybody into a category. You put me in a category, in the wrong pile, and you are backing it up because, oh, what? YouTubers do it? Oh, yeah, okay, digital influencers do it. Big deal. Okay? A celebrity could drink blood. Does that mean that we need to do it? No, it doesn't. So, it really doesn't back it up, really. You know, that doesn't prove anything. Now, if a neurologist or somebody that's actually a neurologist in autism, or somebody that actually has it, it comes forward and says that, yeah. But guess what? We all have different opinions, and basing your opinion on other people's opinion is not going to prove your opinion necessarily. It's just going to prove that other people have a similar opinion to you. So why don't you just kind of stick with those people? There you go. Problem solved. I have solved it. But I wish I had. Unfortunately, I don't have that ability to do that. But I don't understand people that are hateful, that join causes, that are there to literally bring support to these communities, but they bash everybody else. You know, if you're gonna support anybody, you either let them support themselves, or you educate people in a friendly manner. Say, hey, you know, my friend is autistic, or my friend is trans, or my friend is gay, or I'm gay, or I'm this, or I'm that, and this is how it is, and it's really nice to meet you. Try to, because if you want to bring people into your community, you want to make sure that it's a loving community. You don't want to just go into a community and have everybody be like, you know what, I'm really angry. Are you angry? Yeah, I'm angry. Yeah, and that seems to be Facebook all the time. But when it comes to actual, real, you know, interactions, rather than online and stuff, it's going to be very, very different. And people don't go around and say, oh, this is so stupid, or I'm so angry. No, it's like, I like this. I like this. You know, I have theater friends that I'm part of a local theater group. So I have friends that are in the theater, and it's just a small one. But they're supportive of everybody's, you know, religious, gender identity and sexuality, because we don't discriminate. We don't, because the thing that makes theater beautiful, essentially, is, what makes it beautiful is the fact that we have a variety, and that we are all from different backgrounds, and somehow we can make something beautiful and bring it to the world and show people. Now, is it something that nobody can do? No, anybody can perform. Not everybody can, but people, believe it or not, they go out of their way. There are a lot of people who cannot act, cannot sing, cannot do anything, and they're on this. They're in movies and in the theater. So, but these people are just very welcoming, and they are wonderful to be with. We give each other encouragement, and, you know, I put my makeup on because I'm not always really good with makeup. I'm not a natural at it. You know, I never really, I've always had sensitive skin, so to me it's kind of a learning experience. So I'm putting this makeup on, and I'm getting support from the other people, and I'm like, does this look okay? Is this all right? And somebody will say, you know what, you need a little bit more blush, or you know what, this needs to happen. And we all take positive criticism, and we learn. You know, I had a guy tell me as I put the microphone on, he says, you need to learn about sound dynamics. And she said, and I said, I had no idea, but this is really interesting. He says, yeah, you're still learning, and you're gonna learn more about the sound dynamic, and how, you know, when I was saying certain things, some things weren't being heard, you know. And I said, it's about the inflection, it's about the power that you put out, you know, when you sing and speak. And but I received that criticism, and I saw him as not being, I wasn't defensive. I felt that he was being helpful to me. And he says, yeah, that's the great thing, is you're learning. And this is my first year. This is my first year. And I was kind of mentioning that, and they just were very, very helpful. And I think we should be able to say, hey, you know, this is what's going on. This is what I think, without hurting one another. And we've lost that art because of social media and such. We have found that it's difficult to accept other people because we are always like stuck in a rut. And I think it's time for us to let that go, and time for us to realize that we all have battles, and sometimes our battles are not with other people. It's sometimes with ourselves. And before we go out on a rampage or try to tell people what's going on, we should need to think to ourselves, is this really necessary? Is this going to benefit me in my life? Is it going to benefit another person? Is this going to really help my situation and my purpose in this world? Am I helping anyone, or am I just helping myself? But by telling people that they're wrong in their perspective and in their experiences, all you're showing is how limited your perspective is. And it's really just showing how crazy that person is, because it's like, so do you argue with goldfish too? Do you tell them that they're wrong as well? Do you have any other voices in your head? I don't mean to be judgmental, but no. But yes, but anyway, I hope all of you have a beautiful, blessed day, and I hope that that you understand that it's okay to have a different perspective. It's okay to be the person that is just a little bit different, and you don't need to lessen yourself anymore for anyone else. But sometimes there's a time for you to shine, and there's a time for you to stand up for what you believe, and stand up for, and you will know it. But instead of reacting, just respond. Say, this isn't my battle. The next time you see a comment or you say something, this isn't my battle. This isn't going to help anybody else. This is not going to even help myself. And it's really hard because you want to set things straight. You want to prove who you are as a person, and it's not going to get through. You know, you shouldn't have to prove yourself unless it's like in a working environment. But when you're with people that care about you and enjoy being around you, you're not going to have to prove anything. That's the thing with my theater friends. I don't have to prove anything. I'm auditioning because I want to, you know? Do I want to get a certain part? Yeah, probably. Of course I do. Who doesn't? But I also am there by choice because, you know, I want to perform. I like to perform. It's natural for me to perform. It's just like any other kid. Any kid that sits there and entertains. To me, it's natural. So I don't see it. Is it nerve-wracking? Oh yeah, because there's people watching you. But when you look out in that crowd of faces and you see, instead of seeing judgment, I saw people. I saw people that were just like me. Not necessarily the same perspectives, same opinions, or the same experiences, but they're me. They're human. And when you look at that, you realize these celebrities, whatever it is, you know, those people that you think they're just people. And I immediately, after that, I mean, I was telling the stagehands, get me out of here. I don't want, I'm not supposed to be here. She's like, yeah, no, I can't. And she's like, you're so funny. And I was like, I'm not being funny. I'm having a panic attack. And so that was, but as soon as I saw the light kind of go, and then I saw those people, and I just went, there's nothing to be afraid of. Because when you look point blank at your fear, and you realize it's just a crowd of people, and they're not out, they're just sitting down. They're not out to get you. They're there for a show. They're there for the ride too, and you are the one that's you're the tourist guide. So, what's there to be afraid of, you know? You gotta realize, you know, and it takes a certain, you know, not everybody has that confidence. I think it comes gradually. You have to engage, you know, you have to, you know, put yourself out there and make the effort, before you can face that fear. But in actuality, we're all cowardly lions until we gain confidence. And then we realize that our cowardice is really not our downfall. It's really just the fact that we didn't believe in ourselves to begin with. So, and I hope that we can all gradually believe in ourselves and believe that we are magical beings and that we can bring magic to people's lives, but we don't have to be hateful, and we can just be us.